I have the great pleasure, the honor in fact, of introducing a very great man. The Grand Cheif, Serge Otsi Simon, was born in Kanasatake to Roger and Pauline Simon. Grand Cheif is of Mohawk and Algonquin descent. Serge is of the Turtle clan. He is a firm believer in unity and through unity and about unity and through the relationship building with other chiefs across the land, and is in the process of negotiating a comprehensive treaty of alliance amongst Indigenous nations of Canada. Please welcome the Grand Cheif, Serge Simon.
Which brings me a little bit to what I have to say. You got to look at the past, learn the lessons, look at the present, how you're going to use it to affect the future. Treaty of 1764 and the Treaty of Ghent of 1813 all reaffirmed that we were to be left alone in our lands and that they weren't going to displace us. Now, they violated that all over the place. We've been in a big fight with our land claims since then, trying to prove that this is our land. And this fits into the fight against pipelines. The pipeline is not only an environmental issue, the issue would be territorial integrity. Now, when a pipeline company comes in, like TransCanada, and they say, we want to pass a pipeline through your claimed lands. And I say, no way, you're not. And for various reasons, we rejected that whole thing. We went into the process to a certain point till we said, okay, no, we can't continue with this. When it comes to that point, and let's say they decide, we're putting that pipeline, whether you like it or not, we're putting it right through. That is it's a forced surrender of land. And that is illegal under international law because of the treaties we hold. We have a lot of reasons to say no. Environmentally speaking, you look at the evidence out there in the Northwest Territories, the permafrost is disappearing. And they admitted, by their own admittance, that they knew for decades that their product was going to fuel climate change or the heating of the planet. But yet they continued. They even, in some cases, suppressed the technologies that could have removed us all fossil fuels maybe 50, 60 years ago. And there's a lot of proof of that. Now, TransCanada comes in and they say, look, Grand Cheif, we're going to give you lots of money. Your community is going to do very well, you know, all kinds of good stuff. But when I look at what the price is, how can I in good conscience accept that money when I know that at the other end of that pipe, I'm going to be feeding into misery. I'm going to be feeding in to the destruction of the planet. Chiefs from Alberta, men, women, you know, mothers, fathers, from all areas, telling me about what they're facing, what they're dealing with. It wasn't too long that it started to turn into an alliance. So I flew out west, I spoke to the chiefs in British Columbia, and we were looking at the issue in the same way. East and West had the same common view of this whole issue. Environmentally, territorial integrity, sovereignty, and so on. So next thing I know, I had the Manitoba Regional Chief, Derek Nepenak. He's very famous in our neck of the woods. Very good speaker, very strong leader. So Derek and I met there with Chief Arnold Gardner from Treaty 8 up in Northern Ontario. So the three of us are sitting there and we're talking to over 60 chiefs of British Columbia. Next thing you know, we start talking about alliance, an East-West alliance. And not long after that, it turned into a treaty. Why did it turn into a treaty? Well, because treaty making is a pre-Confederation exercise, and as such is protected under the Constitution, Section 35. A treaty amongst the recognized legal governing bodies of First Nation territories across Canada. So we're looking at this now as a nation. We're nations, we've been recognized as such under treaty. Well, as a nation, shouldn't I have the right to go to The Hague? The Canadian government says, no, you don't have that right to do that, come on. But then they keep talking about nation-to-nation relationships. But what's your interpretation of a nation? We fit that interpretation, don't we? But again, the suppression of native rights. Our right, our place, our rightful place in the world And you go into First Nation communities and they still find a way to laugh at it. And they're still extending their hand in friendship, and they're hoping that the Canadian government, or anyone else for that matter, is finally going to realize that we're not your enemy and you can shake my hand, it's okay, don't worry about it. They want us to fight each other, and I won't give it to them. I won't submit to that way of doing business. We always try to, you know, build bridges instead of destroying them. Not easy, but it's worth it. So the idea of the treaty alliance is one that we can't let go. And that's why I joined with the Sierra Club. They're not a corporate monster. They're actually there to make a difference. I leave the door open for these partnerships. I'm not shutting it down. You got to look at diversifying. So look at the green technologies that are coming up. I've been looking at hydrogen for a long time. And the message of talking about hydrogen and these new technologies, how we can combine them and develop a new wealth for society. New jobs, a new way of living, preserving the environment. If you invest some of that money, your oil money, and clean it up and bring it in with us, and you could save your community's future. And the message of it's okay, but you still have time to change and turn it around. And I'll be there. You can rely on the Treaty Alliance to come in and help you, and we will fight against them alongside with you. I look at my grandkids, and you know what? It tears me up to imagine my granddaughter somewhere in her 30s, 40s, and I picture her struggling to find clean water and trying to find food to feed her children. And it's something that I can't even keep that image in my mind. Now, if the Canadian government thinks that they're just going to throw money at me or they're going to try to intimidate me, they have another thing coming. Because the way I see it, it's my granddaughter or them. That's not even a choice. So you better think twice about stepping on my toes. Because I can cooperate or I can share the pain. A lot of our First Nation chiefs are willing to stand at blockades. They're willing to follow the grassroots all the way to the prison cell if we have to, but we're going to stop it. For one thing, I'll leave you with here. I'll leave you with one of my favorite quotes. Mark Twain, actually. Says there were two of the most important days in your life. The day you were born and the day you found out why. I guess I found mine. Thank you very much.